Chapter 1. Tell yourself the truth, no matter how hard. One of the hardest things a person will ever do in life is look themselves in the mirror and tell the truth. Not just the surface truth, not the version of the truth that sounds good when you say it out loud, but the truth that stings, the kind that makes you uncomfortable, the truth that exposes what you've been hiding behind. That's the starting point for strength. That's where you begin to build yourself. That's when things finally start to shift. You can't build a strong life on top of lies. Not lies to others, that's one part, but the lies you keep telling yourself, those are the ones that hold you back the most. You wake up every day and you say, "I'm trying," when deep down you know you're not really giving it all. You tell yourself, "I'll start tomorrow," when you've been saying that for years. You say, "I'm just tired," but the truth is, you've been avoiding your own potential because showing up fully takes more effort than you're used to. See, telling yourself the truth hurts at first, but it saves you from long-term pain. You don't grow by lying to yourself. You don't get stronger by pretending everything is okay when it's not. Real growth starts when you sit down with yourself and say, "This is where I am. This is what I've done. This is what I've avoided. And this is what needs to change." Most people don't want to do that. They want comfort, they want peace without discomfort. But there's no peace without truth. You might distract yourself with entertainment. You might stay busy all day. You might surround yourself with noise so you don't have to face the silence. But sooner or later, life brings you back to reality. Life exposes you. Life doesn't care about your excuses. Life responds to who you are, not who you pretend to be. And when you look at your life and you're not where you want to be, ask yourself, have I really been honest with myself about what I want, about what I need to do, about what I've been avoiding? That's where transformation starts. You've got to stop sugarcoating your weakness. You've got to stop defending your bad habits. You've got to stop telling yourself you're just tired, when the truth is you've let discipline slip away. Because the person who lies to themselves never gets better. They just get better at lying. You know how you really build strength? By facing what you've been avoiding. Maybe it's that your work ethic is weak. Maybe it's that your emotions control your day. Maybe it's that you start things but never finish. Maybe it's that you're too focused on looking good in front of others while falling apart inside. Whatever it is, face it. Say it out loud. Name it. Don't run from it anymore. Because anything you don't confront ends up controlling you. Juan Ubani, you have to say, "This is where I fall short. This is what I need to work on. This is where I've been soft. This is where I've been hiding." And that kind of honesty, that's hard. But that's what makes you hard too. That's what makes you real. That's what makes you sharp. And that's what separates you from the people who will always stay stuck. You're not going to grow by watching motivational videos and hoping your life changes. You're going to grow by doing the uncomfortable work of getting real with yourself. You can't fix a problem you won't admit exists. You can't change your direction until you admit you've been walking the wrong way. And it's not about feeling bad. It's not about guilt or shame. It's about responsibility. It's about saying, "I want a better life, so I'm going to stop lying to myself about why I don't have it yet." You want confidence? Tell yourself the truth and fix what's broken. You want peace? Get your habits right and stop justifying poor choices. You want to become strong? Then stop pretending weakness is okay. Real strength isn't in acting like everything's fine. It's in saying, "This isn't fine, and I'm going to do something about it." That's where your power begins. Some people spend their whole lives hiding behind half-truths. They say they're working on it, but nothing ever changes. They say they just need more time, but waste day after day doing nothing that moves them forward. The truth is, they're scared. They're scared of pressure, scared of effort, scared of what it would take to become who they're meant to be. But here's the reality. If you keep avoiding the truth, you also avoid the solution. You avoid the opportunity to become someone stronger. You have to train yourself to tell the truth early, every day. When you wake up, ask yourself, am I really doing what I should be doing? Not what you feel like doing, not what looks good on paper, but what actually builds you into a stronger version of yourself. If you can't answer that honestly, then don't expect growth. Don't expect results you didn't work for. You've got to wake up and face it, that maybe you've been wasting time, that maybe you've been talking more than doing, that maybe your standards have slipped. And the beauty of this realization is, the moment you tell the truth, you take your power back. Now you're not stuck. Now you're not pretending. Now you can actually do something about it. You'll never regret being honest with yourself. You might regret wasting time. You might regret staying stuck. You might regret letting yourself slide. But truth, no matter how painful, always opens the door to real change. And once you start living in truth, you feel differently. You walk differently. You look at yourself differently, because you're not lying anymore. You're not running anymore. You're not hiding anymore. And that changes everything. You don't have to fix your whole life overnight, but you do have to stop lying about it. Start with that. Start with the real talk, the kind that makes you uncomfortable, the kind that cuts through the noise, the kind that says, I'm not okay with where I am, and I'm not going to lie to myself about it anymore. That's what makes you hard. That's what builds your core. That's what makes your mindset unbreakable. Not the fake confidence, not the pretending, but the raw truth, faced daily, owned fully, acted on consistently. And it's not easy. It never will be. But it's the only way out of being soft. It's the only way to grow past who you used to be. It's the only way to become someone you can actually respect. Don't be the person who lies to themselves for years just to feel better for a few minutes. Be the person who tells the truth today, even if it hurts, so they can live stronger tomorrow. You owe it to yourself to stop living in denial, because the moment you start telling yourself the truth is the moment you start building the kind of life you're truly proud of. And that changes everything. Chapter 2. Break the version of you that plays safe. Most people live small because they choose safety over growth. They build a routine that feels familiar. They surround themselves with comfort. They avoid doing anything that brings real pressure. But the truth is, nothing changes when you keep playing it safe. The version of you that's always looking for the easiest way, that version has to go. That version keeps you stuck in the same life, thinking the same thoughts and getting the same results. If you want to change your life, you have to break the part of you that avoids discomfort. You have to crush the habit of doing just enough. You have to stop trying to protect yourself from every little challenge. The comfort zone feels good, but it's the slowest trap life offers. It tricks you into thinking you're okay while the clock keeps ticking. You're not here to coast. You're not here to survive. You're here to build. You're here to push. You're here to face hard things that force you to grow. Playing it safe is not strength. It's fear in disguise. It shows up when you hesitate, when you say, I'm not ready yet, when you tell yourself, I need more time. That voice inside that says, play it cool, don't try too hard, stay under the radar. That voice isn't your friend. That's the voice that keeps you average. That's the voice that wants you to blend in, not stand out. And every time you listen to it, you kill a little bit of your potential. The safe version of you says, I don't want to take risks. But life doesn't reward you for being safe. It rewards you for being bold. It rewards action. It rewards effort. It rewards the ones who do what most people won't. If you wait for permission to be great, you'll wait forever. You don't need permission. You need to decide that the old version of you, the one who keeps holding back, doesn't belong in the life you're building. That version of you is too cautious, too careful, too worried about what other people might think. And here's the problem. You can't grow while staying worried about how you'll be perceived. You can't build strength while living to avoid judgment. The people who achieve real progress are the ones who stop protecting their image and start doing the uncomfortable work. Growth is not about looking good, it's about getting better. And getting better means you'll mess up, you'll look awkward, you'll be misunderstood. But if you avoid that, you also avoid the reward. You have to be willing to try, even if you're not perfect. You have to take steps forward, even when it feels risky. The version of you that plays safe is always looking for guarantees. But there are no guarantees. You could fail, you could get rejected, you could fall short, but you could also rise. You could surprise yourself. You could build something meaningful. You could create a life that makes you proud. But only if you're willing to break the version of you that keeps hiding from pressure. That version wants to avoid embarrassment. It wants to avoid effort. It wants to avoid everything that comes with becoming more. But you don't become more by staying the same. You don't grow by protecting your ego. You grow by pushing through awkward stages. You grow by stepping into things before you feel ready. You grow by putting in effort before results show up. And here's the truth most won't tell you. Playing it safe makes you weaker over time. You lose the edge. You stop stretching your limits. You stop challenging yourself. You lower your standards. And once your standards drop, your identity follows. Suddenly, you're the person who used to try, the person who used to have goals, the person who had potential but never used it. That's the slow death of ambition. But you don't have to go down that path. You can make a new decision. You can say, I'm done protecting the weak version of me. You can choose to do something today that stretches you, that scares you, that demands effort, that demands courage, because that's how you change. The life you want is not found in comfort. It's found in the moments where you feel pressure, but you keep going, where you feel resistance, but you don't back down, where you feel fear, but you act anyway. That's where progress lives. That's where growth begins. That's where the hard version of you is built. One choice at a time. Nobody wakes up one day and becomes unbreakable. It happens from years of choosing the harder path, from stepping up when it's easier to step back, from doing more when you feel like doing less, from staying locked in when distractions try to pull you away. That's how you build grit. That's how you earn confidence. That's how you gain respect, not just from others, but from yourself. It starts with the decision to stop living soft. Stop giving yourself permission to settle. Stop waiting for someone to push you. Stop making excuses for your average results. Stop accepting a version of you that avoids growth. The question is not whether you have potential, you do. The real question is, are you willing to destroy the version of you that keeps wasting it? The one who avoids responsibility, the one who stays quiet when they should speak, the one who scrolls instead of builds, the one who complains instead of improves. That version is not your future. That version is your prison. Every day, you're either feeding the weak version or building the strong one. And you build the strong one by choosing things that make you uncomfortable, that make you grow, that demand more from you. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to stop playing it safe. Your comfort zone is not your friend. It's where your dreams go to die. It's where your best self gets trapped in laziness and fear. You know what's worse than failing? Never knowing what you're capable of because you stayed comfortable. You don't need more time. You don't need more motivation. You need more honesty. You need to admit that playing it safe has cost you too much already. It's cost you time. It's cost you confidence. It's cost you growth. And it will keep costing you unless you stop protecting the weaker version and start building the stronger one. This is your moment to break free. This is your moment to say, I will no longer choose safety over strength. You don't need to feel ready. You just need to move. One hard choice at a time. One uncomfortable decision at a time. One action that proves you're no longer okay with being soft. Because at the end of your life, you won't remember the days you stayed safe. You'll remember the days you broke through, the moments where you pushed past fear, the hours you chose effort over ease, the times you said, "I'm better than this, and I'm going to prove it." Don't let fear of failure define you. Don't let comfort hold you back. Don't let the old version of you control who you become. You're not here to stay soft. You're here to rise, to build, to grow, to break everything inside you that says, stay small. And when you do that, when you stop living safe and start living with purpose, that's when everything changes. Not just how others see you, but how you see yourself. You earn self-respect. You gain real strength. And most of all, you prove that you are no longer the person who hides from pressure. You are the one who walks into it and comes out harder, sharper, better, stronger.
Chapter 3. Get serious with life before life gets harder. There's a moment in every person's life when they're forced to face what they've been avoiding. That moment doesn't come with a warning. It shows up when you least expect it. Life has a way of waking people up. And it doesn't care if you're ready. It doesn't care if you feel prepared. If you don't take life seriously while you have the chance, life will make the choice for you. And when it does, you won't have time to prepare. You'll either respond with strength or you'll fall apart. Too many people are waiting. They keep saying they'll get focused when things calm down. They'll start changing when they feel more motivated. They'll fix their life when the timing feels perfect. But time isn't waiting for anyone. Life is already moving. Days are passing. Opportunities are slipping. And the hard truth is that if you don't step up now, you'll pay for it later. What you don't handle today will come back louder tomorrow. What you keep putting off will eventually take something from you. Your time, your energy, your future. Getting serious doesn't mean you become rigid. It means you stop treating your life like a practice round. This is it. This is the time you have. And if you're wasting it by being casual, distracted, unfocused, you're not just losing hours. You're losing growth. You're losing power. You're losing the edge you could have built if you just locked in. You can't play around with time, because while you're laughing it off, life is preparing challenges that don't care if you're lazy. Life doesn't bend to your level of effort. It demands results. It demands strength. It demands clarity. When you don't take your life seriously, you lose control of your direction. You wake up one day and realize you've been drifting. You look back and see months wasted, decisions ignored, responsibilities avoided, and it's painful. Because deep down, you knew better. You just didn't do better. You knew what you needed to improve, but you kept distracting yourself. You knew the people you needed to cut off, but you kept entertaining the same cycles. You knew the habits that were making you weaker, but you kept going back because they were easy. That's what happens when you don't take yourself seriously. You let the easy path become your pattern. You let average become your identity. You let soft habits shape your future. And one day, reality hits. Life gets harder. You lose something. You're forced to face real pressure. And suddenly you realize you're not ready. Because you never trained for it. You never prepared your mind. You never built the strength that comes from choosing hard things before they become mandatory. There's no warning before life changes. One phone call, one decision, one mistake. One moment can change everything. And if you've spent years playing around, avoiding pressure, looking for shortcuts, you'll fold. Not because you're weak, but because you didn't take the time to get strong. And now you're forced to catch up, only under stress, under pressure, with less time and more problems. But it doesn't have to be like that. You can make the decision today to treat your life with respect, to take your growth seriously, to start building the version of you that can handle anything. It doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It means you take ownership. You take responsibility. You stop treating your future like it's guaranteed and start acting like it's earned. Because it is. You earn a strong life. You earn peace. You earn confidence. You earn respect. None of it is handed to you. And if you keep waiting for life to slow down before you take it seriously, You'll always be behind. You'll always be reacting. You'll always be reacting. You'll always be catching up. The people who succeed don't wait until it's convenient. They step into the work now. They decide that discipline matters even when no one's watching. They understand that growth is uncomfortable, but being unprepared is worse. There's a weight to life. The responsibilities, the stress, the uncertainty. If you don't train for it, it breaks you. But if you step into it early, if you prepare, if you grow, if you commit to becoming better, that same pressure builds you. It makes you solid. It makes you capable. And when life gets harder, because it will, you're not caught off guard. You're not scrambling. You're ready, because you chose to take things seriously before life gave you no choice. That's the power of maturity. That's what separates those who lead from those who crumble. It's not age. It's not experience. It's the decision to show up with intention every single day. It's the choice to treat your time, your energy, your habits, your words, your mind, like they matter. Because they do. Everything you do is either building you up or breaking you down. There's no neutral. There's no pause. Every moment counts. And the sooner you realize that, the stronger you become. People who don't take life seriously waste it. They laugh through every consequence. They avoid accountability. They point fingers when things go wrong. But none of that builds character. None of that earns success. None of that prepares you for the storms that will eventually come. Look around. Life isn't slowing down. The world doesn't care if you're tired or stressed or unsure. The world keeps moving. And you have to decide if you're going to move with it or get left behind. That's not fear. That's reality. That's how life works. It doesn't wait for you to feel ready. It rewards the ones who step forward anyway. And don't wait for a disaster to change you. Don't wait for a loss to teach you what you could have learned through discipline. Don't wait for everything to fall apart before you finally commit to being serious about your future. By then it's harder. Not impossible, but harder. Because now you're rebuilding in the middle of pain. You're starting over in chaos. You're trying to stay focused with fewer options. But if you start now, if you stop making excuses, stop blaming others, stop playing games with your potential, you create a foundation that can hold your future. You build habits that protect your progress. You train your mind to stay calm under pressure. You learn how to lead yourself even when life doesn't go your way. Getting serious with life means you stop needing reminders. You stop waiting for someone to push you. You wake yourself up. You push yourself forward. You handle your business. You set your standard, and you don't let anything pull you away from what matters. You've got goals. Then your actions need to match. You've got dreams. Then your effort needs to match. You've got people depending on you. Then your character needs to show up daily. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being responsible. It's about building a life that reflects your values, not just your emotions. Discipline won't feel good in the moment. It never does. But neither does regret, and at least discipline gives you something. At least it builds something. At least it moves you forward. The alternative, wasting time, staying soft, avoiding growth, only leads to disappointment. You know what you need to do. You've known for a while. The issue isn't clarity. It's commitment. It's consistency. It's the decision to stop giving your attention to distraction, to stop chasing temporary relief, to stop talking and start building. Because life isn't waiting for you. And the longer you wait to get serious, the harder it becomes to fix what you've let slide. The habits become stronger. The mindset becomes weaker. The gap between where you are and where you could have been gets wider. But you're not stuck. You're just one real decision away, one shift in your thinking, one new commitment, one honest day of work. And when you do that once, you do it again, and again, until it becomes who you are. That's what it means to take life seriously. You don't just think about what you want, you act like it matters. You build it, you earn it, and in the process, you become someone you can trust, someone who's prepared, someone who's ready. Because life will get harder. That's guaranteed. But if you're stronger, more focused, more grounded. It won't break you. You'll rise with it. You'll meet it head on. And you'll win. Because you didn't wait. You didn't waste time. You got serious before life forced you to. And that's how you change everything. Chapter 4. Build discipline when no one is watching you. The real test of who you are happens when no one's watching. That's where the truth lives. Not in front of the crowd, not when you're being praised or noticed, but in those quiet hours, the ones when it's just you. No feedback, no applause, no validation. That's when it counts. That's when the voice in your head tells you to relax, to slow down, to take the easy way out, and that's when you have to decide who you're going to be. Discipline isn't something you turn on when people are looking. It's something you do when nobody cares. It's the extra reps when you're alone in the gym. It's the quiet mornings when you get up and work even though nobody will know if you don't. It's showing up to your goals even when it feels pointless. That's how you separate yourself. That's how you build something real. Not because you want recognition, but because you know deep down this is who you need to become. Most people only perform when someone else is keeping track. They work hard when they're being evaluated. They behave differently when they're under a spotlight. But that's not real character. That's performance. And performance fades when the attention disappears. Discipline, on the other hand, stays. Discipline builds when you keep your promises in silence. When you say you'll do something and you follow through even when the world isn't watching. That's what creates internal respect. That's what creates trust in yourself. You don't earn self-respect by being loud. You earn it by being consistent, quietly, repeatedly. Even when your emotions tell you to quit, even when it's boring, even when the progress is slow, that's when discipline becomes your edge. It becomes your strength. Because in those moments, you're not driven by mood. You're driven by choice, by intention, by responsibility. There's power in doing what needs to be done with zero attention. That power compounds. It grows with time. It builds confidence. Because you know you're not faking it. You're not pretending to be disciplined for approval. You've earned it in the dark. You've earned it in silence. And that kind of discipline, no one can take from you. When you build discipline in private, it shows up in public. You don't need to talk about how focused you are. You don't need to prove anything. The results will speak for you. Your energy changes, your habits improve, your mindset becomes sharp. Not because you were trying to impress anyone, but because you've been living with intention behind closed doors. A lot of people talk about grinding. They talk about hustling. They talk about goals. But talking doesn't change your life. Action does. And the action that matters most is the kind that nobody sees. Waking up on time when your bed feels comfortable. Finishing the work when distractions are everywhere. Training your mind to stay locked in when everything around you feels lazy. That's what builds power. It's easy to talk about discipline when life is smooth. When you're motivated. When things are exciting. But that's not when discipline is tested. It's tested when you're tired. When no one's holding you accountable. When you don't feel like showing up. And you still do. That's discipline. Not the highlight reel. The boring stuff. The consistent stuff. The repetition that seems small, but over time, separates the strong from the average. If you need someone to watch you to stay consistent, you'll never make it. Because life isn't always going to give you someone to check in. You won't always have someone pushing you. That has to come from within. You have to get to the point where your standards are higher than your feelings. Where your expectations for yourself matter more than your comfort. Where you do the hard thing simply because it's the right thing. Building discipline means treating your goals like they're non-negotiable. You don't skip the work because the weather's bad. You don't break the routine because your mood is off. You don't delay the progress because it's a holiday. Your standards don't change with the day. They're set, and they stay set. Because you're serious about where you're going. And that seriousness doesn't need an audience. A disciplined life is a focused life. It's not chaotic. It's not reactive. It's structured. That structure gives you peace. It keeps you grounded. It keeps you from being pulled in every direction. When you know what matters, you stop wasting time on what doesn't. And that clarity gives you an edge most people will never have, because they're too distracted to build it. Discipline also teaches you how to manage your emotions. You stop reacting to everything. You stop needing to feel a certain way before you move. You stop giving energy to every passing thought. You understand that your mind doesn't run the show. Your decisions do. You act with purpose, not impulse. That shift is everything. That shift is what makes you stable. You don't need big moments to prove you're disciplined. The little ones matter more. Choosing to turn off the distraction. Choosing to stay focused on the plan. Choosing to rest only after the work is done. Those are the choices that shape your future. And the best part, you don't need permission. You don't need to wait. You can start now, right where you are, with what you have. A lot of people say they want a better life, but only a few are willing to do the boring work behind the scenes. That's the difference. It's not about talent. It's not about luck. It's about consistency. Quiet, repetitive, focused consistency. That's what wins long term. That's what builds greatness. It's not exciting. It's not glamorous, but it's real. And it works. If you can be disciplined when no one's watching, you'll always be prepared. You'll never be thrown off when life gets chaotic. You'll know how to stay grounded when pressure rises, because you've already trained for it. You've already practiced showing up without needing attention. You've built the skill of doing hard things, just because they need to be done. That's what makes you hard. That's what builds toughness. Not noise. Not motivation. Not empty promises. But showing up. Repeating the right actions. Even when you feel like no one cares. Even when the results are invisible. Even when your progress is silent. That's when discipline is formed. And once it's formed, it becomes part of you. It becomes your advantage. It becomes your identity. So stop waiting to be noticed. Stop waiting for the perfect time. There's power in being unknown. There's strength in being low-key. That's where the best growth happens. Not under lights. Not in front of crowds. But in your own space. In your own time. Quietly becoming better. Quietly sharpening your habits. Quietly creating a life that reflects the effort you've put in. You don't need noise to build something powerful. You just need honesty, consistency, effort, and time. If you do the right things long enough, they will pay off. Maybe not today, maybe not this week, but eventually, the discipline you've been building will put you in a position where others wonder how you got there. They'll call it luck, but you'll know it was hours in silence, days of repetition, moments when you chose to stay focused instead of falling off. And when life gets harder, because it always does, you won't panic. You won't fall apart, because you've already learned how to hold yourself together when no one's there to remind you. That's real freedom. That's real strength. That's the power of building discipline when no one's watching. And once you have it, no one can take it from you. Chapter 5. Show up even when everything feels against you. There are days when everything feels off, when your energy is low, your thoughts are heavy, and nothing seems to go your way. You wake up already behind. Things don't flow. You feel misunderstood, unsupported, and overlooked. And in those moments, the easiest thing to do is to shut down, to disappear, to skip the day, to say, not today. But that's the exact moment when showing up matters most. When everything feels against you, your response defines your strength. It's easy to stay consistent when life is smooth. It doesn't take much effort to do what's right when everything is lined up in your favor. But life doesn't work like that. Real life brings resistance, distractions, delays, criticism, pressure, and the only way to grow through it is to stand up and show up anyway. You're not always going to feel motivated. You're not always going to feel prepared. That's not weakness. That's reality. But if you let your emotions control your action, you stay stuck. You keep waiting for the right moment. You keep hoping life gets easier, but it doesn't. What gets stronger is you. If you choose to act regardless of the conditions around you, some days you'll wake up exhausted, not just physically, but mentally. Some days the weight of everything you're carrying will feel like too much, and that voice in your head will try to talk you out of progress. It'll tell you to rest longer, to start tomorrow, to slow down, and that's when you have to be stronger than the voice. That's when you remind yourself that growth doesn't stop just because life got harder. When you push through on the hard days, you build more than momentum. You build identity. You start seeing yourself as someone who doesn't give in. Someone who does what needs to be done even when it's hard, even when no one notices, even when it would be easy to walk away. That's what builds pride. That's what builds confidence. Knowing that even when everything felt off, you still kept your promise. People want results, but they avoid resistance. They want strength, but they run from pressure. But that's not how it works. You earn strength by facing days that try to break you. You earn progress by staying steady when life throws chaos at you. You become valuable when you're dependable. Not just when it's easy, but especially when it's not. Everyone can show up when the sky is clear. That doesn't mean much. What means everything is when you show up in the storm, when you keep going with a heavy heart, when you keep building with a tired mind, when you keep moving forward even though the path isn't perfect. That's what makes you rare. You'll go through seasons where people let you down, where support disappears, where you feel like you're on your own. And still you must show up, because this isn't about who shows up for you. This is about who you choose to become. Waiting for support will delay your progress. Depending on motivation will leave you stuck. What moves you forward is your decision to keep going, even when everything around you says stop. Every excuse will feel valid when you're tired. Every delay will sound logical when you're frustrated. But if you stop every time you feel resistance, you'll never get far. You'll live in cycles. You'll start strong, then fade out. You'll have goals, but never progress. You'll be full of plans, but short on action. That's what happens when you only show up on good days. But if you show up when it's hard, everything changes. Not because the struggle disappears, but because you become stronger than the struggle. You realize that you're capable of more than you thought, that your limits were mental, not real. And once you've done it once you've pushed through a hard day, you can do it again. That becomes your new standard. This is what separates people, not talent, not luck, but the ability to show up when it's dark, when it's lonely, when it feels unfair. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to move fast. You just need to move forward. One task at a time. One small action. One honest step. That's how progress builds. Quietly, steadily, relentlessly. There will be times you doubt yourself. Times you question if it's worth it. Times you wonder if anyone notices your effort. But those thoughts don't define you. Your actions do. You don't need to feel strong to be strong. You don't need to be seen to be consistent. You just need to stay committed to the life you said you wanted. Showing up doesn't always mean doing everything. Sometimes it means doing one small thing. Even if it's just writing one sentence, making one call, finishing one task. It's not about perfection. It's about proof. Proof that you can keep going. Proof that you're serious. Proof that your goals matter more than your comfort. If you only act when it feels good, you'll stay average. But if you act when it feels uncomfortable, you become disciplined. You become dependable. You become solid. Not every day will bring results, but every day you show up brings a new level of mental strength. It sharpens you. It builds trust in yourself, and eventually, it brings the success you've been working toward. You never know what's on the other side of showing up. Sometimes the breakthrough is one day away, one action away, one decision away. But you'll never find out if you stop now. You'll never know what you could have built if you disappear. Every time life pushes back. So keep showing up. Tired. Show up anyway. Discouraged. Show up anyway. Overwhelmed. Show up anyway. Not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Because this is your life, and if you don't take control of it, someone else will. If you don't protect your time, it will be wasted. If you don't protect your habits, they will decay. Every day matters. Even the messy ones. Even the painful ones. You can still make progress in pain. You can still move forward in pressure. You don't need a perfect mood. You need a clear reason. And if your reason is strong enough, you'll stop looking for ways out and start looking for ways through. This is about consistency, not comfort. It's about showing up because you said you would. Because you made a promise to yourself. Because you're tired of breaking that promise. Because your future self is depending on your present actions. You're not here to be soft. You're not here to give in. You're not here to live on autopilot. You're here to fight for the life you want. To push through resistance. To grow stronger with every step. And that starts by showing up. Especially on the days when everything tells you not to. Those are the days that count the most. The quiet wins. The hidden effort. The unseen grind. That's what builds a mindset that can't be broken. A heart that doesn't quit. A work ethic that doesn't fold. You don't need motivation for that. You need a decision. You need standards. You need a commitment to yourself that nothing can shake. And if you can hold the line on the hard days, you'll earn the right to enjoy the good ones. You'll earn peace. You'll earn pride. You'll earn progress. But it all starts with one thing. Showing up. No matter what. Chapter 6. Decide who you are and act like it. Most people don't struggle because they lack potential. They struggle because they never decide who they truly want to be. They keep changing depending on who they're around. They adjust their behavior based on who's watching. They move through life without a strong sense of direction, hoping things will just fall into place one day. But nothing changes until you get clear. Nothing shifts until you decide who you are, and then live like it's the only option you've got. You can't build a strong life on top of confusion. You can't lead yourself when you don't even know what you stand for. You need to stop being in the middle. Stop going back and forth. Stop saying one thing and doing another. You've got to make a choice about who you are, and not just when life is easy. You need to decide when it's tough. You need to decide when no one else believes in you. Because if you don't decide, the world will decide for you. And it rarely chooses strength. Everything starts with identity. The way you speak. The way you think. The way you work. It all comes back to who you believe you are. If you believe you're average, you'll act average. If you believe you're someone who always quits, you'll keep quitting. But when you decide that you're disciplined, you'll start making disciplined choices. When you decide you're reliable, you'll stop giving excuses. It's not about fake confidence, it's about truth. You become what you consistently act like. But the action has to start from a decision. You can't keep living as two different people, one in your mind and another in your habits. The gap between who you say you are and how you show up is where your weakness hides. It's what creates frustration. It's what kills momentum. The more time you spend pretending, the further you drift from the person you're trying to become. But once you commit to one version of yourself, the real version, everything changes. You stop needing approval. You stop chasing identity in people and things. You wake up knowing where you're headed and what it's going to take to get there. This isn't about finding yourself, it's about choosing. You don't stumble into the person you want to be. And once you decide, you build the habits to match. You get your actions in line with your standards. You keep your word. You show up when it's hard. You make choices that reflect your values, not your moods. That's what makes you solid. That's what gives you peace. You don't need to prove anything to anybody. You know who you are, and you act like it. Most people spend their life adjusting their identity to fit in. They don't want to stand out. They don't want to be misunderstood. But the more you shape yourself to please others, the more lost you become. You stop trusting your own voice. You ignore your standards just to feel accepted. But the price of that is high. You wake up one day, realizing you've been performing your whole life, playing a part, following the crowd, living someone else's story. You don't owe anyone a watered-down version of yourself. You don't need to hide your strength to make people comfortable. You don't need to shrink so others can feel tall. You need to define who you are based on what matters to you. Not trends, not opinions, not fears. Once that's locked in, your life becomes simple. Not easy, but clear. Because now your choices aren't random. They're intentional. They're connected to a deeper reason. Every action you take is either proving your identity or weakening it. When you skip the work, you're reinforcing a weaker version of yourself. When you lie to protect your image, you're telling yourself you're not strong enough to own the truth. When you quit on your word, you're training yourself to doubt your own voice. That's the cost of not deciding. But when you finally choose who you are, you stop betraying yourself. You stop looking for shortcuts. You start building your life with purpose. You don't need to have all the answers right now. You just need to get honest. What kind of person do you want to be? What principles matter to you? What habits support that identity? And are your current actions aligned with that person? Or are they working against you? Because you can't be disciplined and always give in to comfort. You can't be confident and constantly seek validation. You can't say you want success and keep making lazy decisions. The identity you want must be backed by the effort you give. Otherwise it's just words. And no one can do this work for you. It doesn't come from books. It doesn't come from quotes. It comes from hard decisions, from tough conversations with yourself, from holding your line when it's tempting to break. That's how identity is built, one moment at a time. And you either prove who you are with your actions, or you fall back into the same excuses. You're not your past. You're not your mistakes. But if you keep acting like you are, you'll stay there. Your past doesn't define you, your choices today do. And if you want to become someone stronger, then start making decisions that match that strength. Get clear, get focused, and stop acting like you've got time to waste. You've already spent enough time second-guessing yourself. Enough time being casual. Enough time waiting. Now it's time to step into it. Time to say, this is who I am. And this is how I live. No more hiding. No more changing based on the room you're in. No more acting confused, when deep down, you know exactly what needs to change. Your results will never outgrow your self-image. If you see yourself as inconsistent, you'll find ways to stay inconsistent. If you believe you're not good enough, you'll keep playing small. But if you decide that you're focused, resilient and powerful, and you back that up every day, you start living from a whole different level. You stop surviving. You start leading. You don't need permission to change. You just need to decide. Decide that you're done with the old version. Decide that comfort is no longer your goal. Decide that your words will match your actions. That your values will be non-negotiable. That your life will be led with intention. Because once you make that decision, life starts responding to you differently. You get clearer. You get stronger. You stop tolerating the things that once held you back. You stop making space for things that weaken your progress. You protect your time. You protect your energy. You protect your standards. And that's how you build the real you. Not by waiting for the right mood. Not by hoping things get easier, but by stepping up every single day and acting like the person you said you would be. No more hoping. No more drifting. No more pretending. Decide, and act like it. That's where everything begins. That's how you start building a life that actually reflects your potential. Not by talking about it, but by living it fully, clearly and without apology. Chapter 7. Let pain shape you, not break you anymore. Pain is one of life's most powerful teachers, but most people never learn from it. They run from it, numb it, hide it, or complain about it. And because they do, pain ends up breaking them instead of building them. If you want to grow, you have to face your pain and use it. You can't avoid it and expect to be strong. You can't run from it and expect to gain wisdom. Pain is not the enemy. The way you respond to it is, life will hurt you. That's guaranteed. People will lie. You will lose things you care about. You will make mistakes. You will fail. You will have moments when nothing makes sense. That's not weakness. That's life. But the ones who win in life aren't the ones who avoid pain. They're the ones who turn pain into fuel. They're the ones who look at what they've been through and decide it's not going to define them, it's going to develop them. There comes a point where you have to stop blaming your pain for how you turned out. You have to stop using your past as a reason to stay stuck. You have to stop telling yourself that what happened to you is an excuse to do nothing now. Yes, it hurt. Yes, it changed you. But what you do with it now is what matters. Let it teach you. Let it make you sharper. Let it push you towards something better. Pain has the ability to expose who you are. When you're in pain, your habits show. Your mindset is tested. Your patience gets stretched. And it's in those moments you get to choose. Am I going to grow through this, or am I going to let it destroy me? You can either be the person who breaks down every time life gets tough, or you can be the person who gets stronger every time life punches you in the face. That choice is yours. It always has been. Nobody else gets to make it for you. You can't wait for someone to come fix you. You can't wait for the pain to pass before you take your next step. You have to stand up while it still hurts. You have to move forward while it still burns. You have to learn how to walk through pain without letting it change your character. You weren't meant to live soft. You weren't meant to fold under pressure. You were built to grow through resistance. But growth doesn't come from easy days. It comes from the days that challenge your heart, test your strength, and shake your beliefs. You don't develop courage when everything is working out. You build it when everything feels broken and you keep going anyway. There's no shame in being hurt. There's no weakness in struggling. But there is weakness in giving up. There is weakness in using pain as a reason to stay lazy, stay angry, stay bitter. You owe it to yourself to be more than that. You owe it to your future to not let pain win. Use it. Every scar you carry means you've been through something real. That means you're still here. And if you're still here, you still have the power to make something out of it. Let the hard moments teach you patience. Let the heartbreak show you what matters. Let the mistakes sharpen your focus. Let the failure humble you and make you hungry again. You have to stop seeing pain as something that ruins you. Start seeing it as something that reveals you. It shows you where your limits are. It shows you what you value. It shows you what needs to change. And most of all, it shows you what you're capable of surviving. Every person you admire has been through something. Nobody becomes powerful by living a perfect life. They got there because they made it through things that tried to break them. And instead of staying down, they chose to rise. Not once, but every time. That's how strength is built. Not in theory, but in experience. You have that same choice. You can become someone who people look at and say, they've been through it, but they didn't let it break them. But to do that, you have to stop running. You have to stop waiting for life to be painless before you move. You have to stop hoping for peace without pressure. It's not going to happen. What you can do is become so solid inside that no pain on the outside can take you down. You've already been through enough. Now it's time to build something from it. Take all that pain and turn it into discipline. Use it to create focus. Let it remind you of who you never want to be again. Let it be the fire that pushes you to stay consistent, even when no one is watching. Let it be the reason you stop quitting on yourself. Pain doesn't care about your plans. It shows up without asking, but your response is always your responsibility. You can either react like a victim, or respond like a builder. One leads to more pain. The other leads to power. Real power comes from going through something and refusing to let it make you smaller. It comes from the decision to heal with your actions, not just your words. It comes from turning everything you went through into a foundation for your future, not a prison that holds you back. You're not broken. You're not ruined. You're not hopeless. You've just been hurt. And that hurt, if you handle it right, can give you a strength that comfort never will. Pain wakes you up. It shakes you out of laziness. It forces you to ask hard questions. It brings you face to face with your priorities. It can be a gift if you stop fighting it and start learning from it. But you have to take responsibility for your healing. No one else is going to fix it for you. No one else is going to carry your pain for you. People might care. They might help. But in the end, this is your life. And you get to decide what that pain turns into. You can bury it, or you can build with it. Start showing yourself that you're stronger than what you went through. Not by pretending it didn't matter, but by proving it didn't stop you every time you show up anyway. Every time you push through the tension. Every time you finish the work while still hurting. You're telling your pain, you don't control me. You've got a future that's waiting on you to stop acting like a victim. You've got goals that won't move until you do. You've got potential that won't wake up until you stop giving your energy to pain and start using pain as a tool. You'll still feel it. That's not weakness. That's part of being human. But you don't need to break every time life gets hard. You don't need to stay down when things fall apart. You're not here to collapse. You're here to evolve. And that evolution happens every time you rise from something that tried to take you out. This is your moment to change your relationship with pain. Stop letting it make you bitter. Let it make you disciplined. Let it make you focused. Let it build your patience, your confidence, your fire. Let it show you that you are capable of rebuilding even when life tears something down. And remember, your scars aren't signs of weakness. They're proof that you survived something most people would have quit over. And you're still standing. That means you still have a choice. Let that pain shape you into someone solid, someone unshakable, someone who doesn't just talk about change but lives it through every trial, through every challenge, through every setback. Let pain be your reminder, not your excuse. Let it be the start of a new chapter, not the end of your story. You're stronger than what hurt you. Now it's time to act like it.
Chapter 8. Make pressure your fuel, not your excuse today. Pressure reveals what you're made of. It shows up when everything matters. It hits you when the stakes are real, when time is short, when failure feels close. Most people back off the moment they feel it. They freeze, they shut down, they look for a way out. They tell themselves they're not ready. But pressure isn't there to stop you. It's there to push you. It's not a reason to quit. It's a reason to level up. If you let it, pressure will make you sharper, faster, more focused, more disciplined. But that only happens when you stop treating it like an enemy and start using it like fuel. The world isn't going to lower the pressure to make you feel comfortable. Life doesn't stop throwing weight on you just because you're tired. You have to learn to carry it, and not just carry it, move with it. Grow through it. Take everything that's weighing you down and turn it into energy. That's what the strongest people do. They feel the tension, but they don't fold. They feel the stress, but they don't slow down. They take that pressure and turn it into movement, into fire, into action. Pressure is part of the process. You're not going to succeed without it. You're not going to build a solid life without it. You can't expect to become great without feeling the demand of responsibility, time, expectations and high standards. That's the cost of becoming someone worth remembering. And if you run from that cost, you also run from the reward. You've got to train your mind to stay calm when things speed up. Because pressure doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't wait for you to get in the mood. It doesn't stop just because you're overwhelmed. It shows up in the middle of your day, your mess, your fatigue, and if you're not ready, it'll control you. It'll slow you down. But if you're locked in, you can use it. You can take all that weight and convert it into progress. Start with one simple truth. You're not the only one feeling pressure. You're not the only one with deadlines, setbacks, responsibilities, and problems. The difference isn't the pressure. It's what people do with it. Some use it as a reason to quit. Others use it as the reason they keep going. Some blame the pressure for their lack of results. Others let the pressure force them to rise. If you're serious about growth, you can't avoid high-stakes moments. You need them. You need to be put in situations that stretch your capacity.
You need to feel uncomfortable. You need to be challenged. That's how you expand. That's how you learn to stay composed under fire. Because when pressure shows up, it's not just testing your work ethic, it's testing your mindset, your focus, your ability to act without panicking. When most people feel pressure, they start making excuses. I don't have enough time. There's too much going on. I'm under a lot right now. But here's what they don't realize. Those moments are exactly when action matters most. If you only operate at your best when everything is perfect, you'll never be ready for the real world. Because real life doesn't hand out perfect days. It gives you pressure, and it watches what you do with it. So ask yourself this. What if pressure isn't your problem? What if it's your unused fuel? What if all the tension you're feeling right now is meant to be used, not feared? What if the stress is here to sharpen your discipline, not break your focus? What if the deadlines, the demands, the responsibilities, all of it, is part of building the kind of person who thrives under weight? You'll never grow if you keep backing off every time you feel pressure. That's when you need to lean in. That's when you breathe, refocus, and move. Don't let your emotions dictate your behavior. Don't let the heaviness become an excuse to pause your growth. You're stronger than that. You've got more inside you than you think, but you won't see it if you keep letting pressure turn you into a victim. You want to lead. You want to be respected. You want to build something real. Then pressure is part of your path. You can't be soft and strong at the same time. You can't avoid resistance and expect to be powerful. You don't get to choose where the pressure comes, but you do get to choose how you respond. Start acting like pressure is your trainer, not your enemy. It's shaping your focus. It's testing your commitment. It's preparing you for the next level. Don't waste that opportunity. Show up to the pressure with control, with clarity, with intention. Tell yourself, this isn't too much. This is what I asked for. Because if you've got big goals, pressure is the price tag, and the ones who win are the ones who stop complaining and start paying that price daily. Learn to enjoy the pressure, not because it's fun, but because it's building you. You're not the same person you were 6 months ago. You've been through more. You've felt the weight. You've kept moving. If you keep doing that, you'll look back one day and realize it wasn't the easy days that built you. It was the pressure. It was the days when you had every reason to stop, but you kept pushing. Pressure isn't going away. Life will always add more weight as you grow. So train yourself to operate with it. Train yourself to stay level when things heat up. Train yourself to act like the pressure belongs to you. Own it. Use it. Let it make you sharp. You don't need less pressure. You need more composure. You don't need easier tasks. You need a better attitude. You don't need fewer responsibilities. You need stronger focus. Stop praying for relief and start showing you're built for this. There's someone out there with more pressure than you right now, and they're still moving. They're still working. They're still pushing. What's the difference? They didn't use pressure as an excuse. They used it as a reason to rise, a reason to grow, a reason to become everything they said they'd be. And you can do the same. No one's stopping you. Pressure is real, but so is your ability to handle it. Decide that from this point forward, you don't run from pressure. You run toward it. You let it shape your routine. You let it raise your standards. You let it remove the distractions. And you move with power. Don't wait for things to slow down. Don't wait for peace to take action. Start now. Start with what's in front of you. Respond with control. Show that you can perform under pressure. That you can stay sharp when things go fast. That you don't crack when life turns up the volume. You get one life. Don't waste it trying to escape pressure. Use it to build something no one can take from you. Use it to earn a mindset that doesn't shake. Use it to create a level of discipline that becomes your new identity. That's how you win. That's how you separate yourself from the ones who quit when it gets hard. Pressure is a privilege. It means you're carrying something worth building. It means you're in the game. It means you're not sitting on the sidelines. So stop hiding from it. Stop blaming it. Let it fuel you. Let it move you. Let it shape a version of you that's ready for everything ahead. Chapter 9. Cut the comfort that's killing your potential fast. Comfort is easy to love, but dangerous to stay in. It convinces you that you've done enough. It tells you to relax when you should be building. It makes you satisfied with a life that doesn't even come close to your real potential. The truth is, the more you feed comfort, the more your potential dies quietly behind it. Every time you choose comfort over discipline, you move further away from the person you could be. You delay progress, you stretch mediocrity, and the worst part is, it never feels urgent until it's too late. Most people don't realize how much comfort is costing them. They stay stuck in patterns that feel safe, routines that are easy, habits that don't challenge them, and while they feel relaxed, their goals shrink, their edge fades, and their standards drop. The comfort they thought was helping them cope is quietly stealing their hunger. It takes away the pressure, but it also takes away the progress. It keeps them entertained but never fulfilled. You weren't built for a life of convenience. You were built to grow, to sharpen your mind, to test your limits. But growth doesn't happen when you're comfortable. It happens when you put yourself in situations that make you stretch. When you push through the mental tension that comes with doing what you don't feel like doing. When you take full ownership of where you are and stop looking for excuses to stay there. Comfort is seductive. It shows up in the little choices. Sleeping in when you know you should be up. Scrolling endlessly when you know there's work to do. Avoiding the hard conversation that would clear up your path. Putting off the change that would force you to mature. It's all small at first, but when those small decisions add up, they become your life. They shape your identity, and they quietly kill the fire inside you. Look at where you are right now. Ask yourself, where has comfort been leading me? Have I been doing just enough to feel okay, but not enough to change? Have I settled into habits that keep me the same instead of pulling me higher? Have I stopped taking risks just because I don't want to feel the discomfort of growth? If the answer is yes, then you've got to move fast. Because comfort doesn't just delay your progress, it rewires your mindset. It trains you to avoid resistance. And once that becomes your pattern, your goals stop being goals. They turn into wishes. You start talking more than doing, planning more than executing, hoping more than committing. That's the cycle, and you break it by cutting the comfort now, not later. The comfort you're in is not worth your potential. That short burst of relief you get from skipping the hard thing today, it's nothing compared to the pride you feel when you know you earned your strength. It's nothing compared to the satisfaction that comes from building a life that reflects who you truly are, not who you settle to be. You've got to cut it fast, because comfort has momentum. The longer you stay in it, the harder it becomes to break free. You start believing that effort is optional, that goals can wait, that good enough is okay. But the truth is, every day you don't move forward, you fall behind, and it happens quietly. It doesn't feel like a loss, until one day, you look around and wonder how you got so far from who you said you'd be. You've got to wake yourself up. You've got to interrupt the pattern. You've got to make the decision to be uncomfortable on purpose. That means training when you don't feel like it. It means waking up early even when no one's asking you to. It means putting your phone down and doing the thing that moves your life forward. It means saying no to things that feel good now, but slow you down long term. Cutting comfort doesn't mean becoming cold. It means becoming committed. It means choosing growth over ease. It means being honest with yourself when your habits don't match your goals. You don't need a perfect system to get started. You just need to stop protecting your comfort and start protecting your standards. Discipline is hard. Focus is hard. But comfort that kills your potential, that's worse. That's painful in a way that lingers. It doesn't hit you today. It hits you months from now, when you realize you're still in the same place. When your progress hasn't moved. When your momentum is gone. When your goals feel further away than ever. That's the price of staying in comfort. It takes everything from you while convincing you it's safe. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait to feel ready. Comfort has already wasted enough of your time. You've already lost enough days being soft with yourself. What you need now is action. Simple, direct, deliberate action. Start with one choice, one new standard, one uncomfortable decision that makes you proud. And once you do it again and again, until discomfort becomes your new normal, until pressure becomes something you lean into, not run from. You've got to be ruthless with the things that weaken you. If it slows your mind, cut it. If it drains your focus, remove it. If it keeps you stuck, walk away from it. The world is full of distractions, but your life will be shaped by what you tolerate. So stop tolerating what makes you soft. Stop protecting what's keeping you average. Stop giving yourself permission to stay the same. Your potential is real, but it won't unlock itself. It won't move unless you do. And comfort is not going to let go of you gently. It's going to fight back. You're going to hear voices telling you to take it easy, to relax, to give it time. Don't listen. Those voices don't build anything. They don't create anything. They don't grow anything. They only help you waste the one life you've been given. The hardest part is the beginning. The moment you step out of what's familiar, that's where the resistance hits. That's when your emotions start to rebel, but that's also where the change starts. That's where you begin to shift from the old version of you into the one who gets things done. The one who pushes. The one who doesn't fold. The one who finally lives up to their own potential. Nobody is coming to rescue you from your comfort. Nobody is going to make the decision for you. This is on you. And the sooner you accept that, the faster your life begins to change. You can either sit with the pain of staying the same, or you can deal with the temporary discomfort of breaking through. One leads to regret, the other leads to pride. Choose wisely. You have the ability to go further. But first, you've got to drop the weight that's slowing you down. Comfort is heavy. It looks like rest, but it's really decay, in disguise. And if you don't cut it, it'll keep you soft. It'll keep you tired. It'll keep you disconnected from your goals. You don't need more comfort. You need more clarity. More hunger. More urgency. This is your chance to reset. To stop feeding the part of you that just wants to feel good, and start building the part of you that wants to be great. This is your time to rise. Not to rest. You've done enough sitting. Enough waiting. Enough overthinking. Now it's time to act like your future matters more than your comfort, and when you do, you'll realize you didn't need easier. You just needed to get serious. Everything you want is on the other side of comfort. Not by chance, but by choice. And now you have to make that choice. To cut what's been killing your edge, draining your energy, and robbing you of the life you could have had. Do it now. Do it fast. Do it for yourself, because you've wasted enough time staying soft, and now it's time to move hard.
Chapter 10. Live in a way that earns your self-respect. Self-respect isn't something you talk about, it's something you earn. It's not built on what you say you believe, it's built on what you actually do. And the truth is, most people struggle not because they lack goals, but because they don't respect the way they're living. They don't trust their own choices. They know deep down they're capable of more, but their actions never match that belief. You can lie to others and still get by, but you can't lie to yourself and feel proud. When your words say one thing and your habits say another, your self-respect takes the hit. You feel the weight of your own standards. You carry the weight of the promises you've broken to yourself. That internal conflict is the reason so many people feel stuck. They want to feel confident, but their behavior doesn't back it up. They want to feel strong, but they keep taking the easy way out. They want to be proud, but their actions look like avoidance, excuses, and inconsistency. If you want peace, you have to earn it. And it starts with living in a way that makes you respect the person in the mirror. Self-respect grows when your effort matches your ambition. When you say you're going to do something and you follow through, not once, every day, especially when it's hard, especially when it's boring,
especially when no one's around to clap for you. That's how you build belief in yourself, not with motivation, not with hype, but with small, consistent action that says, I can count on me. You have to ask yourself, do my actions make me proud? Does how I spend my time reflect the kind of person I want to be? Do I face what needs to be handled, or do I avoid it and hope it disappears? Because self-respect doesn't come from what you own. It doesn't come from how many followers you have or how well you're liked. It comes from doing the hard things without needing credit. It comes from keeping promises that no one even knows about. It comes from being the kind of person who shows up with integrity, even when it would be easier not to. You don't earn self-respect by being perfect. You earn it by being honest, by being consistent, by being disciplined when it matters most. It's easy to talk about value. It's harder to live by them when life gets uncomfortable. But that's where the work is. That's where strength is formed, not in comfort, but in responsibility. You stop feeling lost when you start living with purpose. You stop feeling ashamed when your actions align with your words. You're not going to feel proud if you're always chasing pleasure. You're not going to feel solid if you're constantly breaking your own rules. You can't respect yourself if you keep choosing what's easy over what's right. At some point you've got to raise your standards and say, this is who I am, this is what I do, and this is how I live, whether it's hard or not. It's not about being seen, it's about being solid. You don't need an audience to do the right thing. You don't need applause to be disciplined. You don't need validation to follow through. All you need is clarity about who you want to be, and the courage to live like it matters. Because it does. Every choice you make is shaping your identity. Every moment you waste is reinforcing a version of you that you'll eventually resent. That's the quiet pain most people carry, knowing they could be more, but choosing not to. Knowing they had the time, but didn't use it. Knowing they had the discipline, but didn't activate it. That pain doesn't scream. It shows up in low energy, in frustration, in overthinking, in anxiety, and it all traces back to one thing: living in a way that doesn't make you proud. You get one chance to build your life, and what you tolerate becomes your reality. If you tolerate laziness, you start to see it in every area. If you tolerate excuses, they show up everywhere. But when you start demanding more from yourself, without being told, without being pushed, something shifts. You stop waiting for change, and become the change. You stop living like a follower, and start moving like a leader. And the first person you lead is yourself. That means showing up when it's easier to stay in bed. That means doing the task when it's no longer exciting. That means staying calm when everything around you is chaotic. That means being honest when you've messed up and fixing it without blaming others. That's leadership, that's integrity, and that's what self-respect is built on. You're not always going to feel confident, but you can always live in a way that builds confidence. By taking care of your responsibilities, by honoring your word, by pushing when it's tempting to quit. The results might not show up right away, but the internal shift is instant. You start to see yourself differently. You start to carry yourself with purpose. You stop doubting, because your actions speak louder than your thoughts. If you keep breaking promises to yourself, you create doubt. Every time you say you'll do something and don't, your self-trust weakens. And without self-trust, you're stuck. Because no matter how many goals you set, you don't believe you'll follow through. That's why change has to start now, with the next action, with the next choice. You don't need a full plan. You need one step done with full effort and no excuses. It's easy to lie to others, but you know the truth about your own effort. You know when you cut corners. You know when you could have done more. And the longer you avoid that truth, the more frustrated you feel. Not because you aren't capable, but because you've been giving yourself less than what you deserve. And deep down, you know it. Living in a way that earns your self-respect doesn't mean being perfect every day. It means taking control of your direction. It means stopping the cycles that waste your time. It means replacing comfort with action. It means doing what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not, because your future depends on it, because your confidence is built on it. You've already wasted enough time living below your own standards. You've already lost enough energy chasing shortcuts. You don't need to be more talented. You don't need to be more motivated. You just need to start being honest. Start holding yourself accountable. Start demanding more from your day than distractions and excuses. That's how you become someone you respect. Not with talk, but with daily execution. The pride you're looking for isn't in achievement, it's in alignment. It's when your daily life matches your value. When your habits reflect your goals. When your actions prove that you're serious. That's when you feel clear. That's when you feel grounded. That's when you stop feeling lost. Not because life got easier, but because you got real. Self-respect grows every time you do the hard thing without needing credit. It grows every time you stay focused when it would be easy to drift. It grows every time you take full responsibility without making excuses. These moments might seem small, but they stack. They build a foundation. They give you strength no one can take from you. And the best part, you don't need anyone's permission to start. You don't need the right timing. You don't need everything to make sense. You just need to decide that from this moment forward, you're going to live like your life matters, like your goals matter, like your word matters, because they do. And if you keep living with that kind of clarity, your self-respect will grow stronger than any praise the world could give you. You'll no longer need to be